Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Well, today's high is only going to be 79. Beautiful. So I'm going to try and get out there and finish planting up a few things. I still have lilies that I bought quite a while ago. I hope they're still good. And I have bought them with one section of the garden in mind, and I just haven't gotten to that section yet. So hopefully the packaged lilies are still good. That would be great. And I can finally get that done. It's kind of the last section of the garden where I need to plant things. So I'll be very happy when all that stuff gets planted. And I'm a little behind schedule. Wanted to have everything done by June, but you know, that always seems to happen, that you end up getting behind schedule for various reasons. Either you got busy, or the weather wasn't good, or you know, something. So anyway, I'm gonna have some coffee. Cheers. Make yourself a cup and we'll have some coffee together. And I have caramel macchiato, cold foam and creamer in there today, and it's very tasty. So yesterday I had to go have my tires done, but it was a pleasant day all in all. I got to hang out at the bookstore for about an hour or so and had lunch with my best friend. So even though doling out all that cash for tires and a repair to the tire sensors was not what I wanted to do, at least that's done and over with. So I'm going to try my best to put the brakes on as far as the repairs go, maybe until fall. I don't know, hopefully my air conditioner will last the rest of the year. That would be great. But you know, a lot of this stuff wasn't planned, it just happened. So but I need a break. Anyway, I don't have plans to go anywhere today. It's Friday, and since I went to breakfast the other day with my one friend and to lunch yesterday with my other friend, there's really nowhere that I have planned to go for today or the next couple days anyway. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to go enjoy my coffee now and kind of chill a little bit, maybe write some morning pages, and then I'll be back. Well, my neighbors are moving and they keep putting stuff out on the curb. Good stuff. It's not really garbage. So I went garbage picking and I found these 2 plant stands and these 2 really big clay pots. This is how big they are. Here's my hand. So they're big and they're heavy, and there's nothing wrong with them. This one has a little bit of a chip, but no big deal. So I took my little wheelie thing, because they're heavy, and I went over and I got them, and there's nothing wrong with these either. So sometimes you can get some really good finds in the trash. So just thought I'd share that with you for free. Well, I'm having a little coffee break here. So cheers again. I put more cold foam on there. I'm liking the cold foam. It it makes me feel special, like I'm going out for a latte. So anyway, I'm in my very cool, comfortable robe here today. I like this thing because it's like a seersucker and it's very cool. And I found that in the winter, I like something hugging my body to keep me warm. But in the summer, I like nothing hugging my body. I like everything loose. So I've been thinking, I didn't go out in the garden because everything is wet. So, and there's a lot, the place I want to work in, there's a lot of leaves and stuff. It's very much covered. So I didn't feel like going in there and getting all wet. So maybe this afternoon I'll go out for an hour. I don't know. But sometimes when you're doing a certain section, you can't always stop and start, which is what I like to do. So anyway, this morning I did a couple things in my basement, and then I ventured out into the garage, which is a mess. But I've got garden stuff out there that needs to be organized. I've got, all kinds of things. So the garage, half the garage is like storage area, and the other half I want to put my car in. So I'd like to get that done before the snow flies this year. It's one of my goals. But I'm going to have to put a lot of the gardening stuff that's outside now back in the garage. But I'm trying not to do too much of that. I'm probably going to cover as much as I can instead of moving it back and forth all the time. But as I was doing my garage, I was thinking that, when you don't have a lot of money, you do a lot of fiddly stuff. You fiddle around trying to reuse things or trying to come up with ideas of how you can use something to the best. And like a lot of people don't bother, even with the garden, a lot of people don't bother saving eggshells or banana peels or composting, any of that stuff. But that all takes time, as well as cooking from scratch. Now, I haven't been cooking from scratch as much since I started the garden because it's just too much. By the time I'm done with the garden, because it's a lot of physical work, I'm just too tired to cook, and I want to eat something that's relatively good. So I end up with more convenience foods. So, like hot dogs, vegetarian hot dogs that are already made instead of making my own. Same with the vegan lunch meats. Instead of making my own, I buy them. So, but that's okay. I mean, I'm not going to do that forever, just until I get this garden done. So in between doing the garden, I'm trying to keep the house in order. So, I'll dust a little here, I'll dust a little there, clean the floor, not doing any deep cleaning or any big decluttering. If I see a mess, I'll declutter that real quickly. Like today, I did my living room here, my table, and there's another little table over here where I keep books. And so I decluttered that. So just doing little things of decluttering and cleaning in the house so that I don't have such a big, huge project in the fall when I'm done with the garden. And I just don't want to let my house go that long. That's my buddy back there. So anyway, we move upward and onward. And this way, if I do things in sections, whether it's in the garage or in the garden, wherever it is, for me, it's much more pleasant instead of just looking at it as one big, huge project, because I probably would never even start if I did that. So my garden is sort of, I have it set up so that there's sort of mini gardens throughout where you can sit and enjoy that particular part of the garden, those flowers or whatever. So that's the way I have my garden set up. And I like, even in the house, even in the house, I like to work in zones, so I'll work in the kitchen and I'll work in one zone of the kitchen and get that straightened up. But I try and keep my kitchen fairly neat because I have a lot of things in my kitchen. And I have a lot of things tucked away and organized, but I also keep a lot of things out, like spices and oils, things I use all the time. So I like to work in zones, even in a room. Like today, I did this zone in my living room because it's where I sit most often. And when this is a mess, once I'm relaxing, I don't like to look at a messy chaos. So I try and keep my dishes done. I've been trying to do my laundry more often because I usually wait until I get a big load and then wash my laundry. But that hasn't worked well for me because then I have a big basket of clothes that I have to fold and put away, and then they'll sit there in my room in the basket, all folded, but still. So I'm trying to just do laundry, smaller loads more often, and just put it away right away, because it only takes 2 or 3 minutes to put it away, whereas if I have a big, huge basket, it'll take me, 10 minutes to put away, or 15, depending on what it is. So yeah, you kind of do a lot of fiddling when you don't have a lot of money, because you don't want to inadvertently get rid of a lot of things that you might use. And there's a lot of times where I'll have an item and then later on it's something maybe I saved. Now I don't save everything. I donate things all the time. But sometimes if I have an item that I no longer use for doing this and I save it, and once I go back to organizing, then I'll find that item again, and it's like, oh, I could use this for that instead of buying something new. It's just what I do. So anyway, I've never been wealthy, and I've never been poor. I've been middle class most of the time, and now my income is like lower middle class. So, but I'm good with it. I'm happy. I have what I need. I usually get what I want. Sometimes it takes me a while, but like I said, I have to get creative. You have to get more creative when you don't have a lot of money. You can't just run out and, spend X amount of dollars on something if you can have something similar that works just as well. So, that goes with clothing too. If you look through the magazines and you see an outfit that you like, and let's say it's some ridiculous price, you can find cheaper clothes that are similar and make a similar outfit that looks just as good, and nobody's going to know you didn't spend $200 on your outfit, that you only maybe spent 50 or less, whatever. Even in the thrift stores, you can go buy a lot of clothes. I know my mom and I, we go to Savers every once in a while, not that often. I'm not really a thrift store person that I go all the time. But, oh, they have so many clothes there. It's just racks and racks and racks of clothing and purses and shoes, and so that's a good option if you don't have a lot of money, and you can look for similar clothing. If there's an outfit that you like, you can look for something similar in a thrift store and get it for hardly anything. So yeah, I was just thinking about that as I was straightening up my garage and starting to get another donation pile together. I was thinking that, yeah, if you don't have a lot of money, you spend a lot of time doing things like that. But I'd like to change that, at least partially, because there's hobbies that I want to do instead of cleaning and organizing all the time. Now, I'll never do a once and done thing because I constantly go through my house looking for things that I can donate. But I'd like to do a little less of that and do more hobbies. So anyway, I just thought I would talk a little bit about that today. And maybe I'll do a little bit more in the garage later, or maybe not. Like now would be a good time to maybe do a little reading on the watercolor painting, because you have to know the theory before you hop right in. Unless you just, I mean, there's nothing wrong with playing with paints, see what different things you can do and the different outcomes. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. So yeah, just playing around with it is fun too. So anyway, I think that's all I wanted to talk about, because that was kind of on my mind. So anyway, I'm going to finish my coffee. I wrote my morning pages. A couple of you were asking about me doing a watercolor tutorial. And that's fine, except I can't teach anybody something that I don't know yet. So down the road, and for me, my artwork is a lot of trial and error. If I make an error, even in my oil painting or acrylics, if I make an error, I let it dry and then I go over it with something else. So it takes me a long time to do a painting, and I think that would be a very boring video. But if I do make progress and I do learn, I would be happy to share that with you. Another one of my viewers, she's actually a friend of mine, she was asking me about wills and trusts and things. Now, I can only go by what I did. Your best bet is to consult a lawyer, because there are certain things that you can do so you don't have to go through probate court. And I know for me, I have a trust. I have a trust for, my house is in the trust. Whatever savings I have are in the trust. So, and then it's very clear as to how my trust is going to be distributed. But I had mine drawn up through a lawyer years ago. I've had this trust for a very long time because I've been, well, I had the brief marriage that was 6 years, but most of my adult life, when I wasn't married to my first husband, he and I were together for 20 some years, I don't remember, including the dating part. I think we dated for 4 years. So, but after I got divorced, and especially after I got my house paid off, I felt that a trust was the way for me to go. So that's what I did. I went and saw a lawyer, and it wasn't that expensive. It was well worth the cost. And like I said, then you can bypass probate court instead of just having a will. So I don't know that much about it. I definitely couldn't counsel anybody on that subject. But like I said, there are estate planning lawyers out there that you can talk to, and they can advise you as to the best way to go. So, all right, my friends, that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. It helps my channel grow. Don't forget to share, and thanks for watching.